Hey, what's going on YouTube? Brian back with another episode of Rust and Beards. This episode, we are going to actually make some pretty decent progress, I think. Um, the Chevy guys with their Camaros, they have that Yenko Performance. Well, I want to introduce you to Hinco Performance, or Hinkyo. I don't know. It's Chinese, so however they pronounce that. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the carburetor that's going to be going on this old bully right here. So yeah, Amazon special, Chinesium. Let's go. So that's going to be step one. So we're going to do an unboxing. I don't have any idea what to expect on this. Very, very mixed reviews. But I can tell you it was less than $90, where there was nothing close to that. That was actually truly rebuilt Ford or Autolite car, any kind of legitimate part. So yeah, I mean, it'll work. Guys, eventually I want to turbo this thing. I want to get some miles under it, and not this season, obviously, maybe not even next season, show season is what I'm saying. But eventually I want to put a turbo on this, and that's going to require me to go with probably a fuel injection and things like that. So this is going to be a get me on the road. And that brings us to our next point. In this video, my goal is to have this thing started. The top tier goal for those who are paid members, I don't have any paid memberships. I'm just saying, if I had a paid membership site or channel or group or whatever, like some YouTubers do, then maybe I would have the first drive, on that paid site. But I don't have any of that. I don't even have anything crazy in the way of subscriber count. So you're all going to see the same thing together. But ultimately, I would love to drive this thing this next week, even if it's down the driveway and back. So we're going to see what we can do. First off, let's go in and get this thing unboxed. Okay, so like I said, this is a Hinco carburetor. I haven't unboxed this yet. You're going to do this with me. I know other people use these. So if you're familiar with F-100's and the single barrel carburetors, this is hopefully you've used these and had good luck with them. But if you're watching this and you're new to F-100's or you don't know what to use and you are running out of options because you don't have $200 something for a new refurbished reman carburetor and you don't have the ability to rebuild yours, then this might be an option. For me, for those of you that don't know, I wanted to rebuild mine, but it had a broke screw at the accelerator pump where it went in. I tried to get it out, tried several different options, several different things to get it out, and it would not budge. So I decided, you know what, I'm not going to spend any more time on it. I just want to go ahead and get the thing on the road. So this, I think, was like it was free shipping, but after like tax and stuff, I think it was like right at $93. So there's a good amount of value, hopefully, if this thing will work halfway decent. So we're going to open this up together and see what kind of surprises await us. Off the top, I can see a gasket, and it's not very thick. Let's see if I'll show you guys. Let me get it out of the wrapper here. Come on. So it's not very thick. These things are definitely, it does have the little holes there, and something I've learned, and I don't know if this is this way on the Autolites, but I know on the Carters, the base, in fact, here, let me grab let me finish my thought first. The base of the Carters, the idle air screw or idle air mixture, there's a hole at the bottom of that carburetor, and that's where it's got a groove cut into the base plate. And I saw one video where one guy he replaced it with a non-Carter carburetor, and he couldn't get his idle air to do anything. And it was because the base plate and gasket that they used in the replacement didn't have space for the hole. So I don't know if that's why these little holes are there. So I'm going to look at my old carburetor, see if I never noticed that. I just saw this video a few minutes ago when I was kind of researching different types of carburetors that different people are using. Of course, after I already ordered this one, but so I want to see if that is also the case with this Autolite. This is an Autolite 1100. So the engine could have also came with a Carter, which it's a YF something. I don't know. They look different. So if you have the Autolite, it's the Autolite. There's pretty hard to mix the two up. Let me grab the old one and just see if it's on the base, if it has those little ports like he was talking about. Again, I don't know if that's a Carter thing. So it looks like it does. So that might be good. So yeah, on the base, if you see this little port and this little port, and the guy said, and again, I'll be the first to tell you guys, I don't know. I know the basics of carburetors. I know, like, in theory how they work, but I'm not a carburetor tuning guru. So again, this is one of these channels that this is outside of my comfort zone a little bit. If I were to rebuild this one, I would have done it, but it's outside my comfort zone. But anyways, he said that these ports in here and these little grooves are designed for the idle air mixture, which is, I believe, right there. So I think. Anyways, that's just what that's what I read. That's what I saw. So with this gasket going like so, of course it doesn't. I mean, it does line up there, but the butterfly is definitely hitting. So I don't know. Let me not get ahead of myself. You're also going to notice I brought the old one over here. This is what I was telling you about. The piece that was broke off in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. It doesn't look like it's earth shattering, but I couldn't get it out, and so I gave up. I figured my time was more valuable than I could just do. I don't know, whatever. I mean, it does have some protective packing. It's got these little foam. I mean, that's, they didn't have to do that, I guess. There's quite a bit of those, actually. This thing is so tiny, but it's a one-barrel carburetor. What do you expect? I don't know. I don't know what I expected. Just saying it's tiny. How about you get off me a little bit? Anyways, okay. Suffocation hazard. Just, so this is it. So a couple differences, and I don't know. I was told that for earlier models, again, I was told, I watched it on a video. I wasn't told anything. I wasn't really taught much about these carburetors. An auto shop, they, in high school, we rebuilt carburetors. We talked about the principles of it, but, I've rebuilt Rochesters. I've rebuilt these, but not when things start going wrong with them. I, like a lot of you guys, have to go back and research, why is it doing that thing? What am I not adjusting right? Because I'm not the expert. So if you hear me say something wrong or inaccurate, man, please correct me in the comments, because I'm here to learn just as much as I'm here to show you guys what I'm doing. I don't know that I like that. Listen to this. Obviously, I know the float bowl is in there, but can you hear that? It's almost like a I know there's like needles and seats and stuff, but there's like some like a little ball bearing. The little balls in there, I don't know. They're not falling out, so I guess that's a plus. So let me move this out of the way. There's nothing else in the box. The other thing that I was going to say about not being the expert is I was told, gotta stop saying that. Why do I keep saying that? I watched a video, and the guy told me on the video, he was speaking directly to me. Like, isn't that the way it works when you watch YouTube videos, is they're only talking directly to you? I was told, I watched on the video that on the older auto white carburetors, if it's got one accelerator pump diaphragm, then it's, I can't remember if he says it's for a truck or it's older, like an older model. And I couldn't find one with a single. Every one that I found had the dual. Now, per Amazon, and their so very accurate vehicle fitment chart, don't go off of that. They said this fits up to a 240, 300, but primarily a Mustang. I know based on, but they also said it was an auto at 1100. So what I'm saying is I feel like I can make this work. And if you've got a Ford truck, you could probably make it work. It's really similar. Let me just kind of show you guys, so again, that's the differences is the one accelerator pump versus the two. The other thing that concerns me a little bit that I'm going to have to probably figure out is the linkage on this. I could not find any that had the linkage like this. And this is not, let's see if I can, I want to make sure you guys can see this stuff. This has not been, I mean, we rebuilt this one once, but this shaft hasn't been like taken apart or anything, but you can see like it's got the stopper there, but you can watch, the ball linkage right there, how high it is compared to how low this one is. So like you see it right there, how low it is. I don't know what that's going to do for my linkage. That's obviously, I guess that's what makes this custom. The other thing that I was curious about is what I was just saying, that idle air mixture, these little wormhole looking things. And then this one only has a single port and it's also smaller. I don't know if you can see that or not. So what does that mean? Well, I mean, this is an 1100, unless what I'm seeing is evidence of there being multiple different sizes of 1100. I don't know why this one would be a smaller diameter versus this one. I can tell you that they looked like, aside from the actual diameter, it looked like it would bolt up. So it's not like it's not going to work. You know what, guys? I probably won't be able to do a burnout. That's probably what it's going to amount to. I have to probably give up my dreams of this being a 10-second truck doing massive burnouts at the car shows until I get my turbo set up. Yeah. This is not going to be something I'm hot rodding. Nobody with a 240, unless they put some significant work into it, hot rods them. And I know of people that build turbos, kits, and things for these trucks and cars and what have you, and they make some serious power, but there's a cost to it. So, okay, well, it is manual choke, which is good. That's really it's right here is the choke. I mean, it had the rod on this one too. So the choke looks like it's okay. It has this extra rod. I don't know. I'll have to get into it. The bottom, the difference being this versus this. Again, it's just the positioning is what's going to, because that's what's going to hit with the cable. So anyways, I don't want to keep rambling. I'm happy that it's here. That means that's one step closer for this thing running. Also coming this week is going to be the adapter, aluminum, stainless steel. Actually, I think it is aluminum piping that's it's got a pre-bend in there. Not a bend, I'm sorry. Bead, like cut it or formed into the ends. It's a 2-inch, so I could hopefully take a hose from this radiator, the lower radiator, cut it over, put the 6-inch piece in, and then run the other one from the water pump in. Hopefully that'll adapt that. I've got a new cooling fan coming for this thing. I've got a different spacer for the cooling fan just to kind of give up a little bit of that space that has been talked about in the other videos. Bad news on the fuel tank. The fuel tank that I went to pick up, come to find out, it actually wasn't for a mid-60s truck. It was for a late 50s fridge, basically. It's an honest mistake. And quite, it's such an easy mistake to make that at a glance, I'm like, man, that's perfect. I'll take it. Drove it all the way home, and then I had to call my buddy, or I had to text my buddy back, dude, this is not the right tank. So we got that squared away. Unfortunately, that means I'm still on the lookout for another tank. So that means I'm going to be putting this thing together. I've got another little bitty half-gallon little starter tank that I use for projects, and I'll use that just to get it started. And all right, so we're gonna rock and roll on this thing. I'm excited about it. Y'all want to come along? Let's do this. Thanks. Okay, so gonna go ahead and start working on the carburetor. First things first, I got to clean this off. I've got one lonely can of brake clean to do this. So I'm just going to focus mainly on the base right here where the carb's going to, or I'm sorry, the actual carb's going to mount. And I'll worry about cleaning the rest of this stuff up at a later date, I guess. Maybe I'll just get some more carb clean. The whole engine and, well, the whole truck really, but especially the engine really needs to be like deep cleaned as best as I can without, because I rebuilt it like Derek with Vice Grip Garage likes to say. It's a rebuild. It's a spray can, rattle can rebuild. But yeah, I got to freshen it up a little bit. But anyways, let me get you guys situated here. All right, you stay right there. Okay, so let me grab my Carlina. Do I have any in this one? This one's empty. Do I have any in this one? I got so many cans I gotta clean up. I got this whole shop. This whole garage is just disastered. All right, so basically just all right. I'll just set you right here. There's no debris or anything I need to worry about on this gasket mating surface. I'm really not loving the lack of a thicker base gasket, but this is all that I got, and this is what I'm going to go with. Again, for those of you that were sleeping, excuse me, the byproduct of still being a little sick. For those of you that were sleeping on the first little section of this video, this is the base gasket that's coming with that thing. Just going to plop that down right there. All right, I'm going to kind of maneuver these back here just a tad. So this is actually what would go there. So that's not going to work. That is, I think, replacing this. So do I have to, I guess, take this off? Huh. Because the old carburetor didn't have this piece, and I don't think I can put this on because it'll interfere. What is it hitting on? Yeah, it's hitting on that tube. All right, let me take that off real quick. Let's see. Does anyone see what size that is? I'm gonna say a 1/2 inch. Oh, easy. So 9/16. This whole time I've kind of been living in a panic, hurry up and get this thing built out and get this thing done. that I've, can I get you in there? That I've really neglected the whole, clean up clean up after yourself as you work. So I got to get back into doing that. I'll just set you right there for now. So I don't really know what these are. They're just kind of sitting there. I do know, well, honestly, I don't know. I don't know a lot about these inline engines. I need to, and I plan on learning a lot more. It's got like a heat riser system. There's you probably can't see back here. I don't know if you can see that or not. That's a, I don't know on this one. I don't know if it's like thermal, like it's got like some kind of heat coil system in there where it automatically opens up. You can hear it. It's a flapper. Well, I think it goes on the backside, but it basically lets exhaust gases, hot exhaust gases, go into the warm up the carburetor. From my understanding, that's how that works. I don't know. I know as soon as I get enough money and ready for this thing to be down again, I will be taking that off. All right. Looks way too shiny. Way too shiny. I'm going to take you, actually, I'm going to leave you on. This is this bracket. All right, so let me go ahead and get my nuts going. Okay, so that's on there. Obviously, I'm going to change this out. This I have a new one of these, by the way. This was the old, and this stuff is so hard too. So I don't know. This was the old setup. I don't really want to. I'm going to go and just take that off real quick. I don't know that I want to like rebend a metal line, but I can tell you one thing: this thing is brittle, and that filter is the worst filter. I personally have never had any bad luck with them leaking, but everyone says they're fire starters and whatnot. I'm gonna come off there. I got to get some pliers. That's how brittle that was. All right. So, gotta add that to the list. Fuel line. Probably should just pick some up already. I need to get a thermostat too. Stuff is like so hard. That's not even cutting that. All right. Yeah, because as it is, this wouldn't even fit. I don't even know how that would have even, like, they must have had this to go into like a, I mean, I know they come off, I don't know, can I have done it like this? And then somehow use this into maybe a filter of some sort? I don't know. This is for my vacuum vents. Is this eating even good? I'm gonna spray this down too. Now I wasn't kidding. This has been a few years since it's been on the road. Granted, it's no 10, 20 year revival, but It's not like I took it off the road last year. I'm hoping that I don't need to put any kind of thread sealant on this. We're not going for like super high end performance, obviously, but I'll have to check it once it's running. If I have a slight issue tuning wise and I notice that it could be a small vacuum leak, then this could be the culprit. I don't know. What do y'all say? Should I put thread sealant on there or some kind of goop, or am I good the way I'm doing it? All right, good enough. Clearly this is not professionally ran, but it works. All right, so I'm gonna have to get this off. I'm gonna do that real quick. Oh no, it's smaller. This would be a good little bracket if I don't need to use it for this project. Use it for the next one. Nice little. Let me put it back together right. There we go. Yeah. Just like so. That's kind of all right. Oh, there goes my light. I like these little lights, but they sure don't last very long. Can you still see okay? Yeah, I think you can. Challenge with this is if I hook this in. Actually, you know what? I do need that because this I'm an idiot. This is actually for the choke cable, which is right here. So I do need that piece for my throttle cable. So I don't need this one. This is another rando piece. That came on the original setup. I'm winging it, guys, because I don't know. All right, so let me get you back. Problem is this piece too tall? Tell you what, let me put you back here. See how this is not going to be. It's too tall. All right. Let me just. Because I feel like because this wants to set you there, bring you over. So the old piece, the linkage was up here, and so it was like a direct pull. This, when I pull it, it's supposed to go up. See it choke open, go up. So it's more of a coming from this direction, not that direction, if that makes sense. All right, I need to figure out what the options are for that and see what I can come up with. So hang tight. So I think we've got this figured out. Basically, because of the angle, and I'll attach a video here. But because the angle of this, well, let me zoom out a little bit here. Other way, guys. Other way. Okay, that's a little bit better. Because it's going to come at a more of a downward angle for this to, you can see how this is curved. I don't know if you can tell how bad that's curved. So basically what I got to do is the mounting point right there, I got to make a custom bracket and kind of make it go up a little bit more and then maybe even over. So that means that this throttle cable, instead of being flat, it's got to be more this way. So this angle is not as severe right here. So hopefully I've got enough throttle cable to make that work. And then the other thing I got to do is I've got a spring, or put a spring at the bottom of this linkage somewhere. So let me work on either modifying this mount or just making a new one. Not entirely sure how I want to do that. I mean, I guess I could, in theory, just cut it off like right here somewhere, weld a bigger piece, and maybe have it angled. I don't know. We'll see. Let me do some fingering on this one, and then yeah. Okay, so the solution that I've kind of come up with is this is kind of rough setups here. 4 1/8 is roughly how tall this needs to be from the manifold up. Obviously, once I get it tacked, I'm going to have to kind of pitch it to where it sits, because this is kind of at an angle. I don't know if you can see that, probably not from there, but this is kind of going at an angle to account for the original routing of the cable. So 4 inches up, or it's going to have to be total of 4 1/8. I mean, I could just say 4. It's not a big deal. So this is right now 3 3/8. So basically what I'm going to do now is clean this up a little bit. I'm going to whack this off. I've got some, and this is surprisingly thick for what it is, but I have some metal here. I'm going to cut I'll probably go ahead and cut it, maybe cut it and bend it, get it shaped, and then maybe just do a little bitty tacks, and then I could go ahead and get my angle here, bolt everything in, everything, make sure everything's good, and then go ahead and finish weld it, polish it up. Right now I'm just going to clean all the grime and everything off of it. I've got my ear protection somewhere. Does me no good if I can't, or does me no good if I don't put them on, but this ain't going to be much. Okay. Why isn't that turning on? Okay, it must have got pulled out from the wall. All right, that's close enough. So I'm going to put this in the vise, whack it off, do my measurements, whack off the right amount from here, so I can put this on there, obviously, to raise it, and then we'll go from there. All right, so that's the before, magic trick, bam, yeah. So I got to basically put an inch into this, and like I said, this is kind of where it is. This is how it sets in there. So I'm going to go an inch higher, and then maybe cock it over some more, or maybe even go this way with it. Don't really know yet. fact, what I might end up doing is, I wish there was a way I could set it in there, bolt it to that cable, and then run a piece of thin metal or something and just tack it really lightly, just have it in place. But I really can't. So I'm thinking, I don't know, I will figure it out. The good thing is I mean, I could, if there's gaps in this, I could fill it with some weld because it's not super structural. And I could grind it, make it look pretty. So let me do the figuring. I got to cut this other piece out. I'm not going to have you guys just put you on time lapse for that stuff. I mean, you've seen people cut metal out. So once I get it kind of close to what I need it to be, I'll put you back in. All right, so back. I think I got something figured out on the carburetor. I went ahead, when I left off, it was mounted. I've got the choke and everything on there. I had to modify the throttle cable mount. Basically, I had to kind of run it up a little higher and angle it. So I've got that done and painted. You saw me cutting a little bit of it. It's still wet, so I can't really, but that's basically what it is. I basically added, I think somewhere in here, right around here, okay, sorry, let me get you in. Right around there, I went ahead and added like an inch up. And then on the back side, which you really don't know that you could tell or not, but I did a pie cut and kind of angled it. So hopefully it'll make more sense once that dries. Its original mount, or at least what was originally on this thing, I don't know if it was original to all 66s or what. So also, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the fan and radiator hose. I got the fan in, steel fan right here. I've got a little bit thinner of a spacer, I think by maybe a ½ inch, enough hopefully just to bring this away from the radiator. I did also get a, sorry, I got a bunch of stuff here I don't want to drop. I just picked up a radiator hose. These are 2-inch outlets down here, which to me is just crazy. I don't know. It was 1.97 or 1.90 inches at the water neck there of the water pump on this little 240, which is just crazy to me. So what I'm going to try to do, and then down right there, it's right at 2 inches, 1.97 or 99 or something like that. So what I'm going to try to do is pop this in, face it that way, and then I have somewhere, I don't know where I did with it, what I did with it, but it's a 6-inch pipe. I don't know, maybe I've already showed you guys. I've slept since then, but it's a 6-inch pipe. It's going to go. Hopefully, I could plop this in. It'll go on this side 6 inches, and then I will be able to, in a perfect world, take my original hose. Excuse me, and then pop it down here and then finagle it. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna work on that, and even if I can't get this hose when it snakes around to match up over here where it needs to, I'll be further along, and then it's, I'm just trying to drive onto the finish line. I will definitely probably have to take the fan out, just because it's been a long day. Take the radiator out, just so I could get the fan and everything worked up in there. So I don't know what I'm going to do first. I think I may want to get the hose at least kind of mocked up a little bit, and then go ahead and take the radiator out, do the fan, then put the radiator back in. I feel like an idiot for even putting it back in there. I just don't think I can, I don't know. I don't think I can snake the fan in between here and the radiator. So I figured better safe than sorry. So, all right, let me get to it, and I will jump back in as soon as I have some progress for you guys. Thanks. I don't know why I'm thanking you on every single cut, but thanks. Okay, guys, so just finished up. I told you I was going to come back, so you didn't miss anything. Just a lot of frustration, sweat, tears. No cussing, though. It's something I don't try to do here. So anyhow, so here's where we're at. I've got the linkage hooked up for the carburetor. I've got the a spring bracket hooked up to the carburetor, and I'll explain a little bit about that in just a second. I've got the lower radiator hose on. I've got the fan on. I am now putting the alternator back on, saying a prayer that it's actually going to alternate. And really, guys, after putting the top hose on, which, you know, I won't, you've seen people put top hoses on. I was going to put the thermostat in, top hose, and yeah, so let me bring you in here and just kind of show you a little bit what I'm talking about. I think I showed this to you. If not, you know, I'll cut this out. But I had to change the bracket up a little bit for the linkage. I don't know if you can see that or not. But then also, because the way this spring is, or I'm sorry, because the way the linkage is on this, I had to put this spring bracket in here. This was an existing bracket that came and went straight, and I bent it, cut it down, and made it work. So now, whenever you hit the throttle, you know, the spring will actually give it, you know, cause it to go back. I hope I don't have to adjust that anymore. I feel like it might need a stronger spring. I'm not really sure. I'm also not really digging the fact, you know, how it's hooked in at the bottom. It's just kind of hooked there. And then of course it's hooked in right there. So we'll see, you know, we'll see how it works. Also radiator. So radiator fan is in. I went ahead and went with a 1.5 inch spacer. I think the initial spacer I was going to use was right at a 2 inch spacer. This metal steel fan has got, hold on, has got these little, the fans do that little kick out thing. So it made it to where it was hitting the radiator that way. So I had to get that in there. So I got plenty of room, plenty of clearance there. And then the lower radiator hose. So the lower radiator hose came in. I showed you guys this piece that I had purchased. Under this piece is a pipe, which I don't know that you could see or not. And then that allowed me to, you can maybe make it out down there, right there. That's not very close to that pulley. It kind of looks like it is close. The only part to this that is close, and it actually is slightly touching, is the lower hose is barely touching the oil pan right down there. I'm going to see about getting like a sleeve, like a 2 inch sleeve to wrap around that hose just to, you know, zip tie it in place and maybe just keep it from rubbing through. Hopefully this will get me by for a while. So we'll see. But yeah, right now I'm trying to just clean the block up a little bit right there. It's where the ground goes. And putting the alternator on. Then I got to clean this thing up, the water outlet for the thermostat housing. This thing, I really wish I could have flushed this. It's pretty nasty. It's an old block, and I'm not certain that there wasn't some dirt dauber nests that formed up in there. But I've got to move on, and you know, what are you going to do? So, all right, with that said, let's get this going. Oh, one other thing. Hold on. I am now a collector of gas tanks. I've got this one I just picked up today. It actually came out of a 67. I just did a leak test on it. Everything seems to be good. It's actually in pretty good condition. It's got a little bit of surface rust in it. The gentleman that I purchased it from off of the Facebook's marketplace, that place is addictive. I don't recommend anyone ever going there ever in their lives, especially if they don't have all kinds of money like I don't. Anyways, he's got a 67 he's doing a Crown Vic. Everything looks like it's going to be a really nice truck. But he's actually going to put a Mustang 2, sorry, not a Mustang 2, a Mustang rear gas tank in. And so, yeah, my original tank is the one back there. And then this is the one that I got from a buddy who, at first glance, we kind of thought it was going to fit. It's actually out of a fridge. So, all right. So we're rocking and rolling. I don't want to jinx this, but we might be starting this video. I said it. I'm committed now. So, yeah. Maybe I should have said that, but we're going to do it. I mean, it's time. There's nothing keeping us from doing it. Now, actually, there's a couple things keeping us from doing it. I still have to get the gauges. I did buy a gauge set from O'Reilly's. I got to put that in. I don't know if I'm going to run it on a small pony tank just to slave off of it, give this one time to dry out a little bit, or if I just want to go ahead and bite the bullet, put about 20 inline fuel filters in there and just go to town. I'm kind of leaning toward the latter. So I see a wasp I got to go kill real quick. So, all right, we'll get back to it. Thanks, guys. Bye. Thanks, guys. Bye. I don't even know why I'm saying bye. Like, I'm coming back. This isn't goodbye. I got to get better at this. Okay, so we've got some updates to give, some things that we did off camera. Wanted to catch you guys up on what's going on. Don't really remember what I told you we were going to do versus what we actually just did, so I'm just going to show you. So the carburetor is completely done. I've got it plumbed in with a filter. This is going to, I'm not going to say this is makeshift. This is going to last as long as it lasts. I'm praying for no leaks. So that's a thing. Got the alternator and everything back on there. Got the hoses, upper hose is connected. It's actually holding coolant. I need to top it off with coolant some more. Once I get it running, I'm going to have to purge the system. I just put water in there, about half. The rest of it, I'm going to put coolant. I just didn't want to waste good money on the coolant if it was all just going to pour out. So I'm somewhat confident that it's not going to leak, or if it does, it's not going to be detrimental. The other thing that I did, I'll come around this way. Hated to do it, but I had to run mechanical gauges. I really want to change over to electrical gauges. Problem is all the electrical gauges that I see on the Amazon, they say they're not very good quality and you can't rely on them. So I figured it would be better safe than sorry. The gauges though, if you can see, they're right there. So right now I've only got the coolant and oil pressure. So that, I figure those are the first, the major two. And then the last one is going to be your voltage. So I'll do that next. That'll be easy. But next thing is starting it up. Pour some gas down its throat. Let it see what it'll do. Pop off a little bit. I don't have the tank yet installed, but once I get it running on like a little pony tank, or maybe just on its own, filling up the bowl, then yeah, that's gonna be the next step. So let's do that. Okay, so this is the first, you know what? Just want to make sure I've got oil in it. I know I do. I'm just being paranoid. Yep, it's got oil. Again, I'm not looking to run this thing. The fuel pump's not even hooked up. This is more just seeing what she'll do. Okay. Well, come on. Okay, well, I think I got probably 2 drops down the all right. It's not one to jump. Maybe I need to be in here anyways. Check my oil pressure. Oh, we tried kicking. All right. Excuse me. I might just go ahead and hook this pony tank up. and start pulling some fluid. What?
Smoke was coming from
That's
there.
fine. Smoke is fine. It's just smoke is coming from places that it's just got spilled stuff on. Not a big deal. Put some more gas in there. Seem to like that better. Let me take this cap off. Just pour it. All right. Okay, so that'll be enough for now. It blew the cobwebs out. I'll give the starter a rest and go ahead and hook this gas tank up to it so I go ahead and start checking my fluids and everything. That's the first time it's ran in easily a year and a half, maybe even 2 years at this point. I don't even know. So, all right. Okay, so you guys heard that, heard the engine pop off. I'm going to go ahead. I got the pony tank here. This is actually something that my dad made years and years ago, rescuing vehicles for necessity before the whole rescuing on YouTube thing kind of became a niche. Anyways, I'm going to fill this up. It's just running a hose down to the pump and try to get the pump going. That's a little bit, I'm a little concerned just because, again, pumps don't like to set dry for as long as this one has. So hopefully we can bring it around. So I'll have to prime the carburetor and everything. I got my battery tender set up, or maintainer set up on the battery. So the hope is that I can get this thing to idle, go ahead and top off the fluids and check coolant just to see, kind of get a baseline of how this thing is going to act. I kind of need to figure out how much this thing actually holds. This isn't going to be anything I'm going to drive or anything with, although in the past it has been done. On this one, I just want to make sure it'll run and idle. You know, so whoop, 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 and there it goes. All right, I'm just kind of cleaning the inner fender there. That was on purpose. Yeah, that's good. Okay, nothing to see here. Yep, okay. Calm down. Nothing like spilling gasoline all over the place. All right, let's turn the valve on here.
Let's turn the valve on
It'll be a minute before it pulls from the pump. Oh, something's leaking. All right, I think I just overfilled the pump, the float bowl. I think that's all that was. Yeah, that's what we're gonna go with. Got good oil pressure. All right, let's just see if it was pulling any fluid there. Any fuel from the... Nope, it just burned off what was in the, what I put in the bowl. Let's try that again. Let's give that a whirl. All right, let's see if that did nothing. Still nothing there. I'm really trying not to throw a bunch of fuel down the throat of that carburetor and actually try to get it in the bowl. I don't want to soak these cylinders in fuel. Oh, nothing yet. This is a process. Almost out here. Might have just done it, maybe. No. Straight from the bowl. Nope. I get it to idle enough. No, it is not pumping. I really don't want to get another fuel pump. I mean, at least it's easy to get to, but still. Yeah, it's not doing nothing. All right, let me try one more time. It should be pumping by now. Okay, so we'll have to look into that. See if this sucker is. Good news is I don't really see any leaks or anything for oil or anything. Pump just don't want to be pumping. My guess is the diaphragm in there has probably gotten dried up, cracked, or something. They're cheap enough. I guess I could just put one on. I just hate to do it. All right. We'll be back. So I try to be very transparent with you guys on this video channel. So when I mess up or when things are just silly, then I try to capture them and not hide them. This is one of those moments. What are you laughing at? This is one of those moments where, let me ask you guys a question. When you see a valve like this, I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me get down here. When you see a valve like that, does that mean off or on? So in this world, it's a actual twist. So you keep twisting it. It's not a this way for on, this way for off, which I had it this way, or I'm sorry, I had it this way thinking on, like normal valves. No, it's a keep twisting it and it'll pull down and then allow fuel to go through. So this whole time that I've been begging and pleading and praying for fuel to hit the carburetor was never going to happen because the valve here was shut off. So we're going to go for round 2 on this and see if we have a different outcome. Solely first start, take 2.
I'm going to feel like an idiot if this works. But honestly, I hope this works because I don't have the most confidence when it comes to today's auto parts. I hear so many horror stories about how they last for 3 months. This fuel pump that's on this thing, I replaced it well before COVID and all the quality issues kind of started happening. So I don't want to really replace it with a lower quality one, which is in essence what I would be doing. So let's give this thing a whirl. Fingers crossed, toes crossed. We're pulling fuel. Look at that. Chip, come on. Got good fuel flow. At this point, I'm going to go ahead, start pulling in the radiator and see if I could go ahead and burp that, and then check my temperature gauge and just see, burp the coolant and just see what happens. Back up. All right. So we're below 190. You did see it spew. It's because I've got a giant air bubble in here. Just mainly because it is circulating though. No leaks. Turn the idle down a little bit. I don't know what it's idling at. Might be a little high still. Not really sure. I want to get the temperature under control. We've got Braxton going back and forth with the water. I've already pulled it in there. It's right at 180s. Really more like 185. So it's doing its cooling thing, which is awesome because this thing used to way overheat. So hopefully this radiator fixed it. Bigger fan. I'm gonna try to turn this down just a tick. Okay, I need a bigger spring because that's actually at. Okay, let's see. This is blowing off a ton of residual smoke and stuff. Let's go and get this thing cranked back up. I think I got my screw a little too messed up there. Okay. Okay, so I don't have any leaks. The coolant is at the top. I just had to go and fill another one up just to make sure. I mean, it definitely burped. I'm going to go and put the radiator cap on, let it pressurize, see what it does there. All right, let's check my temperature. Running a little rich, I can smell. Yeah, we're holding steady right at 185, 180 or so. Good oil pressure, right about 30 pounds. So the spring, which is kind of something I was a little concerned about. Right there. Can you see that? Right there. It's not letting the throttle go all the way down. So I can't really set my idle speed very well because, see that? This is, I need a stronger spring. Terrible design. The intake, that carburetor is getting like really hot. So it's probably going to vapor lock on me still, which I knew that was going to happen. All right, so we're going to let this idle for a little bit. I might go ahead, see if I can pop this down just a little bit more and then adjust that idle a little bit. Just kind of get it there, then just not mess with it. But I mean, it is responsive. Check my temp, oh, hold on, let me grab my, all right, let's try this again. Check to show you guys the temperature and pressures or PSI on the oil. I don't have the line hooked up yet. You're all about 190 and 25 PSI for oil pressure. So, doing pretty good. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to do a little bit more testing and tuning on the thing. I still have to paint the wheels, paint the hubcaps. We're going to go and put the gas tank in. I'm not, obviously I have a flat tire that won't hold air in the back, so I'm not going to be driving it. I got to get a bigger spring on that carburetor to get that down actually the baseline. My eyes are burning a little bit, it's running a little bit rich. There's not a lot of adjustments on these little 1 barrels, but I'm going to do what I can, and yeah, we'll go from there. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks.